Welcome back to Human Centric. Today's human is Nath Saunders. Nath is one of my clients and he is just an all-round great human. He is a multiple-time Taekwondo world champion. He's a black belt at the age of 7, a second dan black belt at the age of 11, and a multiple-time world champion at the age of 15. He is an extremely dedicated coach now, and his family own Universal Taekwondo Academies, which his dad started many years ago. And coming up in the next couple of weeks for Nath, he is about to attempt a sub 3:15 marathon at the London Marathon. And in this podcast, we chat about his upbringing. We chat about being what I would class as a high-performance, high-pressure child, the effects that's had on him later in life. And we talk about his coaching journey with myself as well. And I think this is a great pod. I really enjoyed speaking to Nath. And there's no doubt in my mind that he will be back on soon. So, without further ado, here he is, the man himself. Before you've come in today, I've done a little bit of research, and so you started martial arts at 3. Yeah. You become a first dan black belt at 7.
Mm-hmm.
You become a second dan black belt at 11. Yeah. You become world champion at 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most schools in the world do not let anybody below the age of 15 go for a black belt, do they?
Depends on the martial arts they do.
Okay.
And also, again, depends on schools and how different associations run it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just thought that was dead interesting because obviously I took all your stats and then I'm Googling like how many black belts under the age of X are there? And it was like, there's no data because most Taekwondo schools won't let anybody do it below the age of 15. So I was like, that is pretty cool, to be fair.
In the UK, it's obviously a lot. The younger ones are allowed to. I think abroad still it's a bit more stricter. So they have like a they're not classed as a black belt. They're called like black with a white stripe. It's like a black tag.
Does it begin with a P?
You're asking the wrong question. I think all I know it as is they call it a black tag. So like, if you're under the age of 16, you're classed as a black tag, not a black belt.
Okay.
And then once you're at age of 16, then you can go for a black belt.
Because the Dan scoring system is it's as much about time as it is about anything else, isn't it?
100%, yeah.
Yeah,
it's,
that's right.
Like, the more experience you've got, the longer you've been doing it. Especially when you get higher up the dans.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't... when you get past a fifth dan, you don't grade anymore. It goes off your time in the martial art, your experience, what you do for the martial arts.
Contribution to...
coaching,
got you.
Refereeing, whatever it is, you're part of it. That's what raises it up, yeah.
Fair enough. So, it all stopped at 16, didn't it?
Yeah.
Why did that happen?
Mixture of things. Big thing was my parents got divorced.
Okay.
And not that I fell out of love with the sport, but them getting divorced and looking back now, it was probably a big thing for me mentally with what was going on and with the pressure, stress, whatever you call it, with training all the time, competing. I've probably seen it as like not an easy way out, but a way for me to go, let's have a little break from this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you'd have asked me when I was 16, 17, 18, probably even 2 or 3 years ago, I'd have said, I just needed a break. I've been competing. But when I look at the bigger picture, that was the main catalyst.
Sometimes as an adult, you look back, don't you, and you think you made decisions for one reason, and then you look back on it with a more educated, not necessarily like standard education, but like a more life educated mind,
100%,
and say, well, that was the reason for that, or that was the reason for that. Fair enough. So, did that have a bigger effect on you than you think then? Your parents getting divorced?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, when you think about it now, yeah, because what I did for what I knew for all my life stopped in a real way of the essence of training most days, competing all the time. That all just stopped. But to me, that felt the right thing to do at the time.
Yeah. obviously with that, like you say, the routine stops. But then things like who's taking you to training and whose turn is it to do this and I think sometimes I don't mean your parents or my parents. I come from a divorced parent household as well. Like I think sometimes, and this is something I was going to ask you about the kids that you teach. I think sometimes adults underestimate kids' emotional maturity because they are immature in other areas. I think adults underestimate kids' emotional maturity in some places, and I think they don't realize how much they see and hear and take in and remember, right? And then obviously I can imagine that is why the break from training, if you take the break from training, then all those arguments about who's responsible for what just don't fucking happen, do they?
Yeah, exactly.
So you just kind of go like that and step back. Did you find that difficult at the time to replace that level of stimulation in your life?
No, only because I played football all my life as well, so that was another big side to what I did. So I still play football, and at the age of 16, the stimulus goes from training all the time to where we going at the weekend. Who's
a slightly different kind of stimulus.
Yeah, and that's like so replacing it was pretty easy, but when you look back, they're completely different things.
Yeah, fair. So how long did it take you to get back in the groove in martial arts?
So I went back when I was 19.
Okay.
In the groove, 21 maybe.
Yeah.
21, a year or so after. When I went back, I kind of went back because it was all anew, and I thought, I may as well do it. It was kind of like, what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
Whereas it probably took me a year to realise, no, this is what I do, what I know, and what I have done.
Part of your personality,
and
part of your identity.
And it's my passion at the end of the day. As much as that break was there for good cause, I look back at it now and I think it was the right thing to do, as in I probably needed it mentally, even though there was other things going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably took me a year once I got back in to think, right, this is it.
Yeah. You've just said there, you needed the break mentally. One thing I always like to ask everybody who comes on, because it's something I've thought deeply about for a long time. I sit and ponder where the scale is at different points in my life. What do you think about the relationship between success and happiness? Because at your level, you couldn't really have been any more successful, could you, pre-16? Like, you did. There's not many people that say, I've got this goal, this goal, this goal, this goal, this goal over a 12-year period, and every single box down that line is ticked. But you're saying there you needed a mental break. So what can we learn from somebody who's had the most amount of success about success and happiness and how they work together?
I think success and happiness, I look at it two different ways, because people define success in their own way. So someone could have a 9-to-5 job and they want to go and have a couple of pints on a Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
To them, they're successful and they're happy because they're like, love what I do, and I get to go and have a pint on a Friday and Saturday. Then you've got athletes who compete who success is defined by what colours around the neck or what they win. They think happiness is when they reach that, but once you reach that level, there's the next thing. So don't get me wrong, success and happiness have been great for me. However, I think when you get success is here, your happiness reaches it, you get that success, then you're looking for the next one. So your happiness is always trying to catch it up. Yeah.
Now that you're a full-time coach and you are surrounded by kids who want to make that same journey that you did, and adults that want to make similar journeys, do you think about that when you guide them? Did you have that level of, like, did somebody say to you, hey mate, that gold medal might not be everything that you think it is, and that is okay? Did you get that?
Yeah, to be fair, I was never pressured in an essence of you've got to win. However, I always felt the pressure. One being obviously because my dad was the instructor.
Yeah.
That I felt the pressure from everyone else there of the like, you're his son, you've got to do well.
People just assume that you're doing it in the kitchen, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
After school and whatever else.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, like, there was no one ever saying, "Oh, well, you've got to win," or my dad saying, "Like, this weekend you must win that goal." But deep down inside me, I always felt that extra added pressure, which most probably wouldn't have because he's Master Saunders, his son, and it's like, oh yeah.
I'm glad that I think feeling that internally is okay.
Yeah.
I think feeling that externally, somebody somewhere down the line is making a mistake, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me happy that you have that experience so that you can then put that into do you consciously put that into the people that you coach
100%.
on a daily basis? Like that do you think the success is easier to come by without that level? Because you see it through lots of different sports and different levels, don't you? We've all known a pushy parent. Like, we've all seen somebody who
I've seen a few of them in my
I'm
time.
sure you've seen more than most people. I'm thinking of different people that I've ever grew up with or whatever. But you think your dad got the balance right?
That one thing I will always give him credit for. Yes, he was my instructor. Yes, he was my dad, but he was never one who pushed me over that limit. Yes, he pushed me to an essence of hard work, and you put what you put in, you get out, and all that. But he was never results based of you must win this or you're not good enough. It was never like that. He's I probably don't ever give him credit for that either. He's always been really good at that side. Yeah.
Do you think he was consciously good at that or innately good at that? Because what I want from this podcast, right? You just went to answer that. What I want from this podcast is I always want somebody to take a nugget from it. Yeah. Right. And I coach a lot of parents, right? You coach a lot of parents. You see both sides of the coin more than I do.
Yeah.
So, one, do you think he was innately good at that? Or do you notice now, looking back as an adult, any kind of communication techniques that he used in certain environments? Like, did he... I listen to the Peter Crouch podcast a lot, and Peter Crouch always says... the conversations that him and his dad had in the car on the way home from football were different to the ones that they had around the dinner table, and stuff like that. And I find that fascinating. And he's like, right, that's a purposeful thing. So, do you think your dad purposely did some stuff, and do you use that? Or
I could give you a really detailed answer. However, I'd be lying. I think he's just naturally has the ability with the communication to get it right. Yeah. I could be wrong.
I think when you naturally have it, you lean into it more, and then you purposely use it. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
It's like nature nurture. If you are that natured, you spot that and go. It's a bit like coaching with what we do in two different environments. Like, if you think you've got the knack of getting something out of somebody, you would more likely do that, right? And then because of that, you bring it into your consciousness, and then you get better and better and better at it.
Yeah, he's definitely got the natural ability to, without actually thinking, you could have 5 different people, all with the same goal, all different needs, and he'd know how to speak to each person individually. It's not like one way and this is it. He's got that natural ability to...
That is a gift. One of my favorite things to do with coaching is look outside of the industry that I work in, and I recommend to any coach in the world to do the same. I look at team sports, and the reason I look at team sports is because it's the direct opposite to what I do. I do one-on-one individual coaching, right? And I think, where is the hardest environment to do that in? The hardest environment to do that in is when there's more than one person. It's easy when you're one-to-one because you haven't got to think about anything else. I pains me to say this as a Liverpool fan, but I look at a lot of the Alex Ferguson stuff about how he would shout at Rooney when he wanted Nanny to listen, and how he would treat Gary Neville in a certain way so that Gary Neville would treat other people in a certain way, or things like that. And I think that's a gift in that environment.
Definitely.
that your dad's got there. And of course, like I say, I'm sure Alex Ferguson as a good example. Obviously, it's easy to use an example at that end of the scale. He would have known he was good at that.
Yeah, and I think it's one of them where likes of Alex Ferguson he'll have naturally had it, and then the more he's used it, the more he's gone, this is something I'm good at here, and then he'll start tailoring it to the people.
Yeah.
And I think that's, yeah.
Do you... the level of resilience required to do what you did at a young age, mental resilience and physical resilience, that was obviously, no one's born like that, right? So I think we have traits that can be trained, like we just said. But do you think now, as an adult, that has helped you, and will you try and give your future children that same platform to have to be resilient so that they build a certain level in adulthood?
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Especially with the way the world is these days, is kids now tell the parents that, oh, I don't want to do that anymore, I'm not enjoying it, or it's too hard. Where, yes, you've got to have a bit of give and take with them, and they want to do what they enjoy, but that's how they build the resilience when something is hard, and when they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because I've got a grading coming up, and I'm struggling with this or whatever. It's that. No, push yourself through that, because then when you push through that and you get to later on in life, and you might, I don't know, it could be something completely different. You've got a race you're going to do, or might be you're going for a job interview. But if you haven't got that resilience from when you're a kid, it's not going to transfer through to as an adult.
So as someone who's been a high performing, high pressure child, and somebody who is now a coach who coaches a lot of children, where do you think the balance is with that? Because I hear a lot of people say things like, I just want my kids to be happy, and if they don't want to do it, they don't have to do it, right? But I think there is a balance between, if a kid has got something and you think, well, you might not want to do it today, but I know, like, I'm thinking about, like, I was exposed to a lot of unbelievably good junior golfers living in Dubai, living on the golf course where we did, and getting to know them and getting to know their parents. And it's like, who's got it, right? Sometimes it's a natural ability, especially with a sport like golf.
Yeah.
Where do you think the balance is between the kid going, I don't want to do this, and the parents saying, right, well, we're going to carry on? How many times does a kid have to say, I don't want to do this, basically, for you to go, okay, maybe they just don't want to do this, and that's okay?
It's a hard one, because it's probably, for a parent, it's probably more frustrating than anything, in the fact of they can probably see the natural ability they've got.
Yeah.
And they know 5-6 years down the line, they're going to go, what did you make me stop that for? But there's got to come a point where, if for 3-4 months the kid's constantly, I don't want to go anymore, and you'll go, right, go. And you're going, maybe it's the time, because then you take the enjoyment out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You then feel even more pressured to go and do it. Yeah. And also, you're then looking at your relationship as a parent and child, where they're going to start to change their perspective on you, because it's gone from being resilient and making them do something to now you're forcing them to do something.
What are the red flags you see with parents and kids? What do you see on a week to week basis in your school, where you go, I know that kid doesn't want to be here, but also I know that parent is living vicariously through them?
There's two ends to the scale with this. There's either, in both senses, the kid might not want to be there.
Yeah.
And you've got the parents who, if they could, they'd be stood next to them on the mats doing it with them, moving their arm, moving the leg, do this, do that. Or you've got the other parents who'd be sat at the back of the room, the kid doesn't want to be there, and they're sat on the phone for the whole time, and they're they're not engaging with it. So when the kids go, "Oh, I don't want to do it," they go, "Oh, just carry on, it's all right." Whereas they're not watching and seeing what they're doing and how they're progressing. And if they just took that phone and put it down there and watched, then they go, "Well, why don't you put a little bit more effort in?" Or, "Are you enjoying this? Why don't you enjoy it? What can we do to make it more enjoyable?" It's that.
Questions get answers, don't they?
Exactly.
Questions get answers. And I think one of the biggest brainwaves I ever had with coaching is coaching is about listening, not dictation. Everyone, bad coaches who think they're good want to give everybody else their ideas. Good coaches who are actually good listen and take in and use the data in front of them. It doesn't have to be numerical data. It can be emotional data. It can be physical data. It can just be general stimulation from their environment, because you can catch a vibe off somebody without them speaking or moving, can't you?
To be fair, one thing I've always been taught, even from growing up, is always ask a question. There's never a bad question. And like, you might feel stupid or whatever it is, but if I was only saying this last night to one of the people, is one of my students, I could see the brain ticking and they weren't sure. I said, "Well, what's up?" Or, "I don't know how to do this." And said, "Just ask."
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not going to think any worse of you. If anything, the more questions you ask tells me the more you want to learn and the more you want to improve.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing I think anyone can do, is just no question. I know everyone says it. No question is too stupid. Just ask the question.
I think being internally and externally analytical is one of the biggest gifts. There was a video that went viral recently of the Winter Olympic athlete. I've forgotten her name. And she talks about the being analytical is a blessing, because you find answers essentially, and you get to improve constantly. I'll have to clip this up and see if I can attach it to it. But it was an amazing clip, and she's so right. And if you think back to we're going to get on how we work together in a second, but if you think about how I have the checking system set up, it's just a self-analytical process. People think that checking system is for me. It enables me to do the job that you pay me for, but the people who realise very early on that checking system is an opportunity for them to brain dump and become more self-aware and more conscious of what they need to do and what they need to do less of, they're the ones who get great results. That's why you're sitting here a year on from starting.
The amount of times I've answered my own questions in them check-ins is unbelievable.
Right.
And I know I obviously said you're going to go on to it, but I'll talk about it. Like, when I first started them check-ins, I was probably in the, what am I doing this for? Like,
why is he asking me that?
I don't want to know all these. And then when you switch that mindset and you start, as you say, talking about analytically, looking at yourself, it just answers everything for you, and it makes it's so, like, before you've even done it, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Before you've even responded and gone, "No, this," that I know what you're going to say.
I did a check-in last night for somebody, and he did the classic thing. He's 2 weeks in, right? He skipped the gratitude box. Tell me 3 things you're grateful for. I said to him on his video, "Do you think you're too cool for gratitude?" Because you're not. Nobody is. You don't realise. You think, why does Tom want to know that? The only reason I want to know is because I want to know what makes you tick as a person, so I can get closer to you and give you better advice that is suitable to you. Not necessarily advice, but just support. I can say, how's that thing going on with your middle child, or how's that? It's just like questions, but like, it's for you. It's for you because it puts you in a good mood to do the check-in. It grounds you because most people, 99% of people, don't practice any kind of mental support in that way, gratitude, right? So like, I always get the same answer from everyone. Oh yeah, I get that. I get why you're doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, being analytical is a gift. I just want to go back to that resilience question, because my answer to that about you is you won't see this because you only experience you, right? Your existence is your reality.
Yeah.
But I am in a wonderful position where on a weekly basis, I get to try and understand 60 or 70 other people's reality, right? And what blockages they put in place for themselves without realizing, what labels they have that come out of their mouth, that start in their brain and come out and they speak them into existence. I can put anything in front of you, and you just go, okay, let's do it. Now that's up to me to make sure sometimes I rein you in. It's a little bit easier to rein someone is to get them off the couch, right?
Yeah.
But obviously at the moment we're going for, or you are going for, and I'm just happy to be a little part of it. But
It's a we. It's not just a me. It's a we.
So obviously you are. We did a bit of a physique development process at the start of last year. And like everybody does, I want to build a little bit more muscle. I want to lose a little bit of fat, but I want to use training and the high performance habits that come with high performance training and high performance tactics of nutrition and cognitive function and all that. You want to use that as a vehicle for change in the rest of your life. You have absolutely done that this year in terms of work has greatly improved. Your personal brand has greatly improved. Your time management, everything is just like shot up. Now you've said, okay, I want to run the London Marathon sub 3:15 on top of growing and launching a new business, right? Plus all the resistance training we do. I've been lucky to coach a lot of people, right? I can absolutely tell the people who've grown up in an environment like you have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I coach other people who you've got to be coachable to be coached, right? And this is like a message for one, people who want to be coached, and two, people who are wondering like what to do with their kids. I cannot express enough how much pushing a child to the right level and degree. I don't have children, that's a caveat to this, but having coached many adults who I know have grown up in environments where they have been coached to a high level, I can tell you now that every single one of them is a more well-rounded person. Do you know what I mean? I've coached, like, I'm gonna name drop him, Breezy, if you're watching, the Breeze. I coached a lad that I went to school with. We're very good friends. We have a good relationship. But he was at the Liverpool Academy since we were single figures, and he left at 16 and he went on to play other professional football. He represented Northern Ireland on an international stage. He's so easy to coach, and he's so like he's resilient. He gets an idea, he has a go at it. He thinks, right, what can we do to do that? Do you know what I mean? And I asked that was a loaded question when I asked you about resilience and how much you think it positively affects you later in life, because like I say, I've coached people who have not had that, and they're like dead entitled to results. They're entitled to, like, well, I've paid Tom, so of course I'm gonna be 8% body fat. I'm fucking massive. And of course I'm gonna run that speed, or of course I'm gonna do that. But everybody who has been coached in a high performance environment at a young age, no matter what their level was, you can still put kids in a good coaching environment. They are all better clients. And that's not the be all and end all. I'm just using what I do as an example as to how it helps you later in life. Would you agree with that coming into this environment?
100%. And but again, I think that comes back to, as if they've been in them high performance places as a kid, they've been nurtured already into that way of thinking and that way of doing. So when you're telling them they've got to do a check-in, when you got 4 training sessions and you've got 4 runs to do, and you're setting up a business or whatever it is, your mind's already adapted to that. I know it's not the same thing, but from when you were a kid in them different sessions, different environments, you're ready for that as an adult. You've had the practice, whereas if you've not been in that situation, it's almost like you're going back to being a kid when you go, right, this and this, and your mental resilience goes, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do here. Whereas, like your mate who you just mentioned, who was at Liverpool Academy, he's gone, right, he wants me to do this and this, and I'm going to have a go at this. He goes, I remember when I was training there and I was doing this, and I've done...
Yeah.
You've had them experiences already.
Yeah, sport is the pathway, isn't it? No matter what sport you choose, whether it's martial arts or whether it's like... I mean, football and martial arts couldn't be really any further at either end. Even if it's like you look at games rather than sports, like, you know, like look at Luke Littler, darts. You don't get that good without having to do something over and over and over and over and over again at a ridiculously resilient level when you didn't want to do it, and it just doesn't work.
No, exactly.
Just doesn't work. So obviously, like I said, we've been working together for a year, right? In that year, I have noticed it's been split pretty much exactly 6 months and 6 months. How do you think... listen, you were training before you come in, right? That's an important thing to know. You were training before you come in. You were that kind of client that I get quite a lot, where you were spending anywhere between 5 and 10 hours a week on your training, but you just weren't seeing the progress and the results that you want for the time that you were putting it in. So it wasn't an effort issue. It was a strategy and a consistency issue. Is the strategy in the right place, and am I following that strategy for the right length of time? But because you come from a coaching environment, you knew that was the issue. So all you did was just outsource it, like you would if something wasn't going right in your business. You would just outsource it and say, I don't know how to make a website. I'm going to pay a web designer to do the website, right? So that's why I say to people, if you treat your life like a business, you get to understand what you need to outsource and what you don't need to outsource. I noticed the second you become, not the second, but you become, over that first 6 months, your proficiency level just went and skyrocketed, right? At what point did you go, this is going to affect everything else that I do? But just by getting my training, my nutrition, and my time management in line, one step further than it already was, how's that affected everything else?
Well, the one thing, and I relay this to everyone, because obviously within that last year I've started creating me, obviously with the personal brand and the content for the martial arts.
Yeah.
I always look back to that check-in. I sent you a check-in, and at the bottom I said, should I start creating content? And you sent me, I think the check-in was nearly an hour long. I think you said, yeah, great week, and just went in at me. You said, why aren't you already doing this? And that is the moment I look back when I asked you that question, that I think everything switched for me.
Yeah.
And because you were probably the first person I've ever asked in a similar sort of industry where you create the online content as well.
Yeah.
Everyone else is kind of your family, my missus, friends who aren't in them type of scenarios, just kind of yes or no answers, whereas you broke it down and was like, why, like, it's gonna that,
it's gonna explode, and it has, by the
way. when after that check-in and I started, once I'd started that, everything just seemed to come together in a sense of me training, me time.
That's when we started screenshotting the diary, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's a bit of, and it's just kind of, everything was, I looked at it with a different perspective. Yeah. Because of what we did. And I know I don't want to like toot your own horn too much, but I wouldn't be doing it now if it wasn't for me starting training with you, and that is set up everything I'm now doing as well.
Yeah, I don't think that is a me thing or a this program thing. I think that is a general, like, if you use a very, very, very wise gentleman who I am very grateful to know, Mr. Stu Jackson, if you are listening to this, recommended me to read a book called The Corporate Athlete. And it talks about how if you use training performance and all the high performance habits that you need day to day to fulfill those performance goals, the right fueling, the right time management, the right recovery, the right mental preparation, the right mental health, activities, journaling, all that kind of stuff, which we do within check-in, you get ahead of the rest of your field in the corporate world, right? When everyone's going out partying and networking and drinking and whatever else, you're ahead of the game because physiologically you can deal with the stress better and all that kind of stuff. And I always say to people, like, it's so hard to tell somebody that it works on that level until they want to feel it, right?
And that's the biggest thing, I think, is they've got to. That moment which I spoke about is me feeling it.
Yeah.
Yes, I already did it all, but that moment was kind of like I got it inside me then.
Yeah.
And it's trying to get, as you were saying, trying to get people to that point of you telling them isn't enough. They've got to feel it for it to work. That's the big thing.
Exactly. I think I just want to say something on that point, because I believe the biggest non-tangible thing that you can give somebody outside of love is trust, right? And I think the best thing that you can give somebody back if they give you their trust is belief, right? And I think that summarizes, I don't just want to say coaching, because it's kind of like, I don't want the word coaching to be lost in the corporate self-help instance of it. But like, that is, like, for me, that is the absolute core of communication and how you give somebody that opportunity to go, right, this is what if you trust me enough to ask, first and foremost, ask me for help with your training and whatever else. That's just the basics of it. But then what I try to do is I try to set up an environment where people trust me enough, and I'm sure you do this with the coaching as well, because I've seen the stuff you've posted and how you speak. But like, you have to set an environment up where people trust you that one step further to go, I'm going to give him all this extra stuff so that he knows me even more and he knows what makes me tick and he can help me even on a higher level, right? And that's why when, like, you ask me a question like that, the first thought in my head is like, if you can give somebody the gift of belief from their gift of trust, it's powerful, man. It's really, really, really powerful. And I'm so happy that moment kind of was the trigger for you to go. And then obviously we went for that coffee, didn't we, afterwards? And we sat there for like another hour and a half. And I was like, mate, I think you've got something here, you know, that I don't think anybody else is doing. And obviously you're now working with Ben, aren't you? Yeah, working with Ben and the coach consultants and their company. And I just knew that he was the right guy to carry on that belief, and they were the right team to carry on that belief, right?
Yeah.
And what do you think about that in a martial art environment? Like, does that resonate with you now that I've said that? Like, how much people put their trust in you and be vulnerable to you, and how giving them back a sense of belief is the catalyst? You notice that you do that?
When you said it, I think I just played it in my mind about a million different scenarios where it works it's such a big thing. Yeah. It's like
it's like I say, it's not tangible, it's not a thing.
No.
But you've got to strike while the iron's hot, because for you will, and I don't really genuinely honestly don't mean this from a business perspective either, but like, you keep hold of that person forever as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, you keep hold of that person, and they're like, they're the guy, they're my guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's just one of the best gifts of what I think we do collectively together as a job, because obviously we coach in different environments. Yeah, I think it's one of the best opportunities, and I think, like, everyone's a coach now, aren't they? Everyone's a fucking coach. So, like, if you are watching this and you don't have that hunger to give somebody that level of belief, you're just writing plans.
And more you say, the more I'm thinking about different scenarios for me. And like, when we were going back to, like, when I came back at 19 and started me coaching, and I said probably for the first year I was not coasting, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Passive.
Good, yeah, passive was. I didn't give people that belief because I didn't have the belief in myself.
Yeah.
Whereas now I've got the belief in myself for what I'm doing. I can put that belief into others. And that's what, that's when you were saying all that, that's what resonated with me as well.
Yeah. It's coaching is one of those things that, like, you've got to, I remember doing mentoring with a client who was a PT, and they'd come onto every mentoring call and they'd say, this person's not following the plan. I'm like, okay, so what are you doing about it? Well, they should just follow the plan, shouldn't they? What do you think we do, mate? Well, we're coaching. So fucking coach. Get your fucking hands dirty. Go. Listen, you've got to meet your coach halfway. You've got to toe the line. There's some people that, like, I have coached where you think you're not open to being challenged. You're not open to change. But if, like, there's a difference between that and somebody, like, needing help to understand what the levels are in terms of following the plan. It's a little bit like what I said before about the diary thing, and it's only a little thing, but we had a discussion in that 6 months, after that first 6 months, of we're going to go from an environment where we're training to look better and be low body fat, which is the easy bit, to being a corporate athlete. How do we now change where we use training as the backbone, and high performance training at that, harder than we've ever done before? How do we do that to skyrocket your business, your brand, everything else that goes with it? The more you want, the more you've got to do, right? And I said to you, the first thing we're going to do is you're going to screenshot your diary and send it to me every week. I'm not a life coach. I'm not whatever, I still have to convince people that I've got a real job, mate. But, like, there is little things where, like, I had to make sure that you were doing those little tiny accountability tasks before you took on other stuff. If you couldn't send me an honest picture of your time management every single week, you weren't going to run a sub 315, be under 10% body fat, carry on storing muscle, open a business, open a second business, run a personal brand, and do everything else that you want to do at the same time, were you? Do you know what I mean?
It's such a simple thing, which, again, you get everyone, plan, and everyone's like, yeah, whatever, I'll.
Yeah.
But when you do it and you do it properly, again, to me, it goes back to the reason why I wanted not a coach in the first place, was I'm doing all this other stuff. I don't want to have the time to go, what do I need to do? Let's set me plan. Let's do this. It's exactly the same. If I set my diary at the start of the week, I haven't got to do on a Wednesday, go, what do I need to do today? What am I thinking? I just go, there it is. A bit like when I walk in the gym, I go, there it is. That's what I need to do.
Yeah. Got it in front of you.
Yeah.
Got it in front of you. Classic, mate. Honestly, I am just really grateful that we are still working together, because for me at this point, it's an enjoyment thing as well. You know, like I do really enjoy it. So listen, what I want to do is I want to give you the platform to talk about Universal Taekwondo Academies, and how long it's been running, when it was started, who it was started by, and where it is now, and where people can find you.
Right, so Universal Taekwondo. I want to double check. I don't want to get this wrong.
Get the dates right.
Don't want to get this wrong. So, 35 years ago.
Wow.
My dad started teaching Taekwondo.
Sorry, how old are you?
24.
How are you?
Yeah.
Wow. There's me thinking you're a little bit older than that.
I'll go even further back. The reason he even started Taekwondo in the first place is because he wanted to do boxing, but he had epilepsy as a kid, so he couldn't pass a medical to fight.
Oh, really?
So he started in karate then, and then tailored into martial art, into Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And then from there, set up his own schools. Used to run it in church halls, one in Chester, Eastham. He used to have it in Bebington, and then you pressure him with the time.
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago, opened up our first centre, which is in Bromberry, behind the JD gyms.
Okay.
On the old Hall estate there.
Yeah.
Full-time centre.
Yeah.
Kids from 3 up all the way to adults.
Yeah.
And then in the last 4 or 5 years, we opened up a second centre in Wallasey, on the Dock Road. Again, from age 3 up. Yeah, it's been, when I'm talking about it, I'm just like thinking about it all and thinking about how mad of a journey it's been.
Yeah.
Like there's a church hall in Eastham, and I remember like training in there all the time before we had these centres with lovely.
Can you remember the smell?
Yeah, vividly. Yeah,
yeah, I bet you can. Mate, yeah,
and it's like, we're on these mats, these lovely cushion mats now, and like kids are like, oh, they fall over on the mats and like, oh, my knee, and I think, you don't realise how lucky you've got it. Used to be
you've become one of the old timers, mate. At 24, you've become one of the old timers.
Mad. I talk about things now, especially obviously because I've done it a very long time. I talk about these things and think, I'm sounding like one of these old bastards now.
Yeah. You know what though? We've just talked about mental resilience before and what it does for a child in a high performance environment, and what it does for them later on in life. I knew you were 24. I was even still shocked again then to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because growing up in the environment that you have, you've not only been able to physically perform at a good level, and mental resilience is different to emotional maturity and a high level of other kind of, maturity. But that's like a compliment to the system, isn't it? Like that you are young, and yet you are wise, and within being wise, you still don't think you know it all, and you're still looking for more answers and more education. And I think like success leaves clues, doesn't it? And if you sit here today as the person that you are, mate, I was a knob at 24. I'm still a knob now, but I was definitely a knob at 24. Do you know what I mean?
I've got two sides to it, don't you worry about it.
No, but do you know what I mean? Like it's like we're laughing saying, "Oh, you're one of the old timers," but it just occurred to me that like there's a reason for that, because you were brought up in the right way. You were taken to the right environments to do the right things with the right level of stimulation. So no, it's a credit to.
There's a little running joke. It go with kids and adults. Weirdly, when I'm coaching, is like get someone, when someone new comes in and they're shy to start with, and then they build up a little bit, and you start having conversation, and then we'll get into a topic or something. And, like me, man and your age, and I go, how old are you? And I'm 36. I go, yeah, it's just your age. That's not mine. And then you look at me dead shocked.
That's literally how I just felt. He's at 34, sitting here thinking, I'm sure this fella's over 30.
It is. It happens all the time. The kids as well. How old are you? You gotta be. Oh, you're at least 30. I'm just like, I must either look old or...
No, but that's not you blowing your own trumpet. That's us accounting for your experiences as a child.
1,000,000%. I'm not very good at talking about myself all the time, but I think that's a big factor of why people do say, "Oh, I thought you were older," or whatever it is, because I've had all them experiences.
Yeah, and again, I don't. The whole point of this podcast is for people to take nuggets from it, and it's like there will be people watching it who have young children, and ultimately, we all want to shape our kids in the right way, don't we? We want them to grow up to be the best version of themselves, and I personally think this is this is a good example. So yeah, all good, mate. As I say, I think what you're doing is great. Let's talk about then how you obviously, I've just said there about Universal Taekwondo Academies. What are you doing now with the new kind of angle? You've obviously had the experience of Universal Taekwondo Academies, and you've had the experience here coaching with me, and we sat down together and we were like, if you don't blend these two experiences with the online world and how the world is moving forward, how easily we can deliver information to the masses, and how easily we can help people on a greater scale with less contact time through coaching principles, but also the technology that we have available to us. Talk to me about the plan. What is the plan for the online coaching side of what you are trying to deliver for martial artists?
So, again, obviously we had that conversation, and it all stems from that first check-in that when I said about I want to do these online stuff, and then I'm looking at what I do with you is, although it's a completely different thing, it's very similar.
Yeah.
You're a PT, online coach, whatever. From there, you've took it to the online world so that anyone can go, I want to do this. Yes, it's amazing. I absolutely love standing at the front of them mats every night teaching, but we've got two centres on the Wirral. I can't be in the Wirral one moment, somewhere else in the UK, somewhere else in the world, whereas that availability is there. So for me, I want to be able to use my knowledge, my experience, to use it for an online platform of martial arts training.
Yeah.
Now, I think a lot of people always think, well, how can you do martial arts online? But so many people neglect, especially in martial arts, whatever form of martial arts it is, everyone thinks it's about standing in front of someone, and or lying on the floor, whether it's whatever it is you do, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, taekwondo, and kicking shit out of each other. Yep. Whereas that's the top. That's like the top of the tree. The foundations underneath are so much of the basics which can be done anywhere. Holding onto your kitchen worktop, sitting in your living room doing your mobility, and it's how I can get. My goal is I want to try and get it out there to as many people as possible that you can do this training through in an online platform.
I think one of the things that most people underestimate about what I do, and I think it's exactly the same as what you do, is the reason why you've got the results that you've got this year is because of everything we've done outside of the gym.
1,000,000%.
And I think what is missing in every sporting environment, whether it's the gym, whether it's martial arts, whether it's team sports like rugby and football or netball or whatever it is, you can only become so great at what that is when you are in that environment. There comes a point in everybody's journey where you got to start not missing a beat outside of that room. And I think one of the things that we touched on when we had that chat was like, nobody's doing that for martial arts. Nobody's showing people how to live their life outside of they either pick it up from the people that they learn from in general, but nobody's bringing it to the masses at an affordable rate, with easy access, with an unbelievable level of value that is going to make a huge difference in their martial arts. And I think that's what you're summarising there, isn't it? Like, there's only so much you can learn on the mat.
And also there's like another big thing, especially with martial arts, is lots of people want to do martial arts, but they have the fear factor of, is it still 10, 15 years ago where I'm going to go into this big scary gyms, load of like big grot men who are going to kick shit out of me, where martial arts has changed. People do it now because they want to build the confidence.
Yeah.
They want to have a community. The amount of people who I've got lifelong friends who all we've done is kick the shit out of each other all our life. The community side of martial arts is crazy.
I think that's undefeated with martial arts. I mean, listen, I've grown up in playing football. I've grown up in a very close-knit rugby club.
Rugby's another one where you'll lump each other for 80 minutes on
it's
a
a respect
field,
thing.
and then you shake hands and go and have a pint with each other. It's the same. Yeah. You stand on that mat in a competition, say, and you, for that, whatever it is, 3-minute rounds, 1-2 minute, whatever it is, you're going to stand there and you're going to look at them and think, I'm going to kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Once you're finished, obviously Taekwondo, martial arts is all about respect. You bow, whatever, and then you'll go and have a chat with them. You'll go and have a drink with them. Or I've got a lifelong friend who's originally from Andover, so that's like right down south, right out the way. We grew up basically fighting each other every week. That's all we ever did, and he's one of my best mates.
It's like it's unique, that, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I think when you show a level of vulnerability and you show a willingness to learn in the same environment as somebody else, always, you have like a bond, really, don't you? That you can't replace. The same, like you say, the same with rugby. Like you're showing that level of vulnerability because of the physicality of it, and also you're all there to learn, aren't you? That's class. I've got a few questions to finish us off. All right, so you've just touched on it there from a confidence thing, but the first one is how much do you want to shout from the rooftops? This is your rooftop. About everybody should try martial arts at least once in their life.
If I had a megaphone and the biggest speakers possible, I'd do it. It's not a case of you must come and do Taekwondo at my place. It's a case of martial arts in general. I've just touched upon
or combat in
whatever shape or form. It's the community, and the biggest one for me is the humility.
Yeah,
and I know that might sound daft, but going into a place and feeling like, what is going on in here? I haven't got a clue. I'm at the bottom of this, and like there'll be, obviously in our place, you'll start as a white belt and you'll walk into a room, into a class, and there's a black belt there, and you'll have this sudden persona of, oh God, keep me away from them, and then next minute they're there helping you, and I think martial arts is just, yes, it's you're learning an amazing skill as well, but all that other side of it is probably outweighs the skill as well. It's a massive thing for me.
Definitely. And I think one question that everybody has when they meet somebody who is like a high level martial artist, but to the point where like you actually have to use it responsibly, have you ever come across a situation in life, I don't want to say in the street, but like that's the like the saying you would say, like on a night out or anything, where you think it's getting dangerously close to me having to use this here?
The real answer, no.
Yeah.
I think that, again, when I look back at them situations, I don't think it's from a thing that there wasn't that stuff going on, but consciously I just take myself away from them.
That's the other thing that martial arts teaches, isn't it? Like it teaches like a level of understanding. It's the absolute last thing you should ever need to use.
Especially the amount of times in school, oh come on Taekwondo, let's do this, come on, I'll batter you. It's like, it's such a common like persona of people, whereas the last thing in my head I want to do is stand there and have a scrap with someone. It's just like and then you talk about night outs there, especially with the way what people do on nights out, and you just don't know what someone's got down the pants or what. It's just get your biggest thing, and a big thing that martial arts teaches is just get away from them situations. It's a last resort. That's the idea of what martial arts self-defense is. It's a last resort.
Yeah. No, it makes total sense. Mate, you're a superstar. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hopefully over the next months, maybe we do a second and get through a little bit more.
Sounds good.
Right,
Excellent.
Nice one.